Welcome everyone, Madman bringing another RSL video. So today is a little bit different here. I have to do a Chimera key. So let's go over to Chimera and show you how impressive Klaazag is. Then we're going to Nightmare. We do not have the gear on this free-to-play account to tackle Ultra Nightmare anytime soon. But so we're going to go ahead. We're going to tackle on Nightmare and we're going to use this comp with Mikage and Awella, and of course Wixwell and Titus and Klaazag. It would have been nice if I could have picked up a blessing for him or Titus, but I don't want to put one on him unless it's at least 4-star. So, or well, I suppose 3-star would be all right because more HP is bad. So, but you want the defense to counter it. Anyway, we'll go ahead and we will start here. I'm not going to talk through the whole thing, but some of the important stuff. And we get to start over because he removed the buffs. All right, so got 3% right off the bat. Just got to love that. Increased resistance, ally attack. All right, we're going to go back again and do this again because Mikage got tagged by the ram instead of Oella. And that just threw everything off, and we lost the initial shield right here on Titus, and he went hitting for crapola. So and boom, just like that, we got screwed. 3% stole the big ass shield from Titus. All right, we lost the shield, unfortunately, on Titus. We tried it 2 more times, but we keep getting RNG held. That's the one downside to this, is RNG hell. So, let's try this again. A3 because we want the increased resistance. Her A3 because we want the increased crit rate and crit damage. And well, the windshield. We're going to A2 because we want decreased defense and weaken. We don't care about the decreased accuracy and whatever. So we're going to put this on Titus first, just so that we get that extra little intercept to grow his shield a little bit faster. Did quite a bit of damage right there. We still maintains the shields, so luckily with her. And then Mikage, we both do the A2s to extend the buffs. Do not do his A3. Not until after you switch Mikage and placed the increased accuracy. All right. Now it's just A1s, A1, swap form. Next go around I need to do his A3 on himself. Boom, A1 with her. We can do A2 with Klaazag. A1 with Wixwell. Get a little counterattack going on there. Her A3, because that boosts turn meter as well. One more turn with Mikage on A1 there. Now we're going to do his A3. So he's got increased speed on himself. Still just A1 with Klaazag. But that's what he got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, extend the buffs. Definitely want to make sure his stuff's getting extended. Extend the buffs with Awella. Now her A3, we got one turn, so we can switch. So we're going to do this. This gives us the increased accuracy. So we complete the trial on the ram. We can go ahead and nuke there. So we're already up to 1 point something million, as long as we don't lose the stuff. Now we can go ahead and do his A3. And now we want to switch forms and go into her A2. And then we want to make sure that she has that intercept buff. Otherwise, Awella won't get targeted. Mikage will. Yeah, we got time, hopefully, to come back around to that. Probably got time to come around and back to that, so we'll do the allied attack as well. Her A3 here. Everybody getting a counterattack now. Boom there. A1. 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 Now we land a brimstone. Now we get to A2 to extend, which, what the hell happened there? Alright. Well, that extends that. Luckily, he didn't land any debuffs because he lost his increased accuracy. The bigger thing is, damn, Mikage lost it. So we'll do that. We're not around to his A2 yet, so probably should have done that last go around, but is what it is. At least with the counterattacks, that keeps that up pretty much the whole time. You can get yourself screwed though. I'm going to put this back on her. Do the A1 with Mikage. Now we're going to do the big hit. Should pick up one. Should have waited. Oh, no, that's fine. So we got a big close there. We'll land the stuff here with increased accuracy. Right now, getting that trial done. So trial one done. What did we? Oh, and we completed that. Now hopefully we can complete both of these as well with the next big Titus hit. This is where Klaazag shines the best. And okay, good. True Fear worked on him, so that's always nice. Got to put the True Fear back up before we do the A3. Extend the buffs while we can. Big A2, we should be up to 4 now. Really? How are we not up to 4? Oh. I guess we're going to have to... We'll get this done, but we need to land the doggone brimstone again. Unfortunately. There it is now. Alright. Since he didn't counterattack us and put True Fear, we got 4 there, so that's good. Who do we need? Now we're going to put that, so she got the incept on her. Notice the shield is real weak with Mikage and Oella, and it's pretty much the point where we're not going to really grow it. That's why you need the original shield from Gear and the shield from Wixwell for this to work with a dam. Oh, he's True Feared, so let's not try and do decrease defense and weekend, but boom, we got that on there. What do we got left? We should score that here in a second. So extend the buffs, big nuke, and we should have 5 trials done. How do we not have 5 trials? Oh, it went on our decreased defense and weaken. Damn it. Alright, well, we're slowly getting to that one. I was kind of hoping we'd have picked up this one, and I should have, could have, would have, not been a dumbass. And the reason I say that is because we build up more points, the faster we have more trials. No point in doing a ally attack, and we're not getting back around to it, so we'll just do the A3 here. And stole our shield. At least it was not off of Titus. So now he's hanging in by the balance. But we will see you once we get to the lion form. Alright, so we're on the ram form here. Um, we got these. We're gonna get the 5 here real quick, and then we'll get this taken care of. And this one real quick, because we're gonna put, so LL on the counterattack puts decreased speed with her A1. It's not 100%, but he's going to land the other 4 debuffs. So now we're up to 5. We could do an ally attack, but no point in doing that just yet. Want to extend our buffs with Wixwell. We're not around to the big nuke yet, so we got to wait one more turn. Buff extension there. A1, one more turn here. Again, don't need to use our A3 just yet. Got to be careful with Wixwell because it's got big shield, but he loses HP underneath it, so he might die even though he's got a huge shield. And who do we want to put that on? We could put it on himself. We'll just do it on Mikage. Not that big of a deal. Alright. Still got 5 debuffs. Did we pick up a trial? Yes, so we picked up that trial anyway, but decreased defense and decreased speed, plus the increased defense, so we're going to pick up 2 more here. Boom. Picked up the 2 more, so that's done. Now we can do the ally attack, counterattack, and the shield, so I don't know if we'll get this completed by the time he's turns back around. He won't. I don't think he'll do enough damage, but he'll do about half. And this is going to be easy because we're going to have counterattack up. Plus, we're going to do an ally attack that we've been saving. So we're going to put the counterattack back up on there. Also, ally attack with Mikage. Probably should have done the buff extension first, but I don't think it's going to kill us at this point. Boom there. A1 there. 43. Definitely want to decrease defense and weaken back up there. Now I'll extend the debuffs. Extend our buffs. Not quite back around. Extend our buffs again. Let's see where we're at. So we're getting close there. And we didn't get too much damage out of that. I don't know why, but do we get more out of that? We might get that trial done from all these counterattacks. Alright. I don't know, we can put it on him, not that it matters. Big nuke. Not that that matters. How close are we? We're almost right there. Got a little bit there. Not as much as I'd like. So hopefully get that trial completed when it's all said and done. Since we're so close to turning rounds, I'm just going to manual this the rest of the way through. Boom, 8 trials down, so this one's locked out. We just need him to start hitting us more. Quit being a crazy wimp. Alright, we can do his A3 here. We don't want to use his A2 just yet. Buff extend, waiting to change forms. Might as well do some damage while we got him here. Saving his A2. No point in doing the A3. Pretty much from this point until we get closer to round 25, we can put it on auto. I just want to make sure that lands, and I'm going to put it on auto. Alright, so now that we're on to the Viper, we could do the big damage here, but we don't want to just yet because we've got Black Depth skills up. I'm not sure who put poison sensitivity up. And then we want to make sure the decrease attack goes up before we do his big nuke. So we just do the A1 here. But, ooh, does he have... Okay, he still has increase in speed. So that's why we do that one A3 way back in the beginning. Decrease defense and weaken along with the other stuff. Extend our buffs. Oh man, we got 2 turns before we can do that. So um, might turn around and just do the A2 now on Titus, and then hopefully it's available. Boom, 18 million. So we got the one done, and that's it. We can't do any more here. We can't do anything here. We're just waiting on that to land. And those are the only 2 trials, unfortunately, that we can do with the RAM. But it is not the end of the world. Extend one more turn, which is fine. That'll line up with Titus. All right. With Wixwell, we should land decrease attack. We did. Titus, big nuke, and we're up to 10 trials. And from here, we can just hit auto for now. Pretty much at this point, it's on autopilot if you have the setups, and you can just let it run somewhere right as it's close to going from turn 34 to 35, or between whatever number of 4 and number 5. I go back to manual, but you can auto it till then until we get back around for trials. All right, so here's the point where we get around, and we should complete this trial and this one and be up to 12. Boom. And we are up to 12. So now she's free to do her thing. So at this point, still want a manual on this because if he doesn't have the true fear and Titus does something stupid, he can literally kill himself. And it took forever to build up that shield. So yeah, just manual the RAM if you're gonna set it to do big nukes. All right, we just got lucky. It turned. We got that last trial there, and not going to get this one, nor are we going to get this one. So at this point, there's still some time left. It's pretty much, if you want to, follow a westerly round. The only thing that's going to kill this run is RNG on Titus. Potentially small RNG chance of the Serpent stealing a counterattack that could be bad. The only other thing is if Wixwell goes down under this lion form right here. But that's it. 13 trials complete. Now we're just going to hopefully hit 400 million or more. All right, we just had the worst freaking luck yet again, but I'm not redoing it because we're close to 400 million. But good old RNG, 3%. The damn thing stole my shield, and even though it'll put a shield on him, he won't grow it enough um, to it get big enough to do any doggone damage worth of crap. It won't grow. Every time we get hit, um, it's going to shrink. So we won't break. We'll break 400 million, but it ain't going to be a 500 million kind of day because we got screwed with RNG, and there's not much, sadly, I can do about that, at least right now. So we'll just see where we end up at the finish line. There you go. 400. just shy of 15 million in damage, and we completed 13 trials. If we hadn't got the shield stolen, I think we could have easily got to 500 million. But you can see Lady Mikage with 12, 31 million for Klaazag. So we could probably up that up. The big winner there, 365 from Titus. No blessing on either of these two. So we're going to keep the results and see what kind of rewards we get here. And look at that. So 21, 38, 10, but we're picking up the 5 mythicals now, which definitely on this count we have not been. I wish I could do this on Ultra Nightmare as well. And one little charm. So we're going to keep that. What I'll do is luckily got one more key. See, that should have been gone. Should have been at 0. But it is what it is. If I go into battle here, I'll show you the setup here. So on the ultimate form, right, I want her to do the buff extension, but I want her to open with this at the very beginning and not transform, but that's why you got a manual actually the first go round. And then for her, the ram, again, buff extension and then ally attack. Same thing for the lion, same thing for the viper. We come over here to Klaazag, 1 and 2, but you don't want to do the A3 in the beginning round until you get Mikage to put the increased accuracy, or you're forget, you're not getting 13 trials. You need that increased accuracy so that Klaazag can land those 5 debuffs that he places on the boss. For the ram, you're not going to use this, even though actually you should probably put that on there. Should probably turn that on. In fact, let's do that. No, I know the reason I don't do that is because I want him to do the A1. Keep the True Fear on all the time. 1 and 2 for the lion there. For the A2, same thing for the viper. Oella here, open with this A3, and then of course it's extend first and that. Ram form still 1 and 2 once if you can get to where you can let it go on auto. Same for the lion and the viper. Wixwell, we're going to open with this. Generally I like to put it on Oella, but I think putting on Titus and giving that extra buff to kind of beef up that shield quicker is better. And then of course we want to extend. Same thing for the ram, the lion, and the viper. So pretty easy setup here. Then lastly Titus. You don't want to use this, but one time you want to use it because it's got his see, it puts ally protection on, right? But it's not putting on everybody, otherwise that would be disastrous. He's already going to have increased attack, I believe, for Mikage, but that increased speed, so we can pick up that 1 second trial on the viper form. Plus it helps speed him up because he's going to be one of the slowest, even though he's pretty good there. We don't want to use either one, but we're pretty much manualing the ram. And then, we don't want to use that during anywhere else. So that is the team set up so that you can run at least a good portion of it on auto. Now, I know you're going to want to go see the gear, so let's go back and check out the gear in the Bastion. And recently used. Alright, so Lady Mikage is in a full 9-piece protection. I'd like to have her a little more crit damage. Got an Orb of Transfixion so she can steal a random buff, but I think it's more for the HP and the accuracy and potentially the speed. Here are her masteries. Let her do a little bit of damage there, but it's trying to recycle those skills, especially get around to that A2 a lot faster. She's at least fully booked on these two, on that. So, and then her total stats here, 310 speed. So for Nightmare, she needs to be at least 305. But I actually slowed her down because I wanted Oella going first to try and keep that original shield from Wixwell on. But the hard part is getting high enough resistance and high enough accuracy so that she can land some stuff there. But the bigger thing is resist everything. But she also brings increased accuracy, so you don't need as high an accuracy. Plus she has the accuracy aura. So, where is it? Accuracy 80 accuracy in all battles, so that's why she's in the lead. Next is Owella. She's fully booked. We went with Nourish there, but she's got the resistance. Not that you really want that. Just a journal of necrosis here. We went with, to speed up things, but basically trying to get some better stats on her. If you need the more accuracy, great, and the resistance. She's another tough one too. So again, 9-piece protection. It's just helpful. You don't need it, but it's helpful. But her stats, so she's pretty high resistance, and we want a reasonable amount of accuracy there because of her A1, and I wanted her faster, so I changed some gear around, sped her up some. Good HP there, good defense there because on her A1 she lands that decreased speed. I fully booked it to get a 50% chance, so that or a 100% chance to place the 30% decreased speed along with the accuracy needs because that's one of the things you need on the boss. That's an extra buff there, and one of the trials needs decreased speed, but she doesn't have to be in the protection set. Now the pain one is Wixwell, and he is in a shield set, and then we gave him four-piece merciless there. Um, we got this on. Termir increases by 10% when an ally receives a stun. So I'm going to say that's more for Hydra there. But anyway, of course, his A2, the big thing is landing the decreased attack because they need that, and growing the shield. Real quick, his masteries here. You probably could have gone a little more here and got a little more damage, but I wanted to make sure he had more HP, enough resistance for sure, but more HP there because he's in a shield set. So again, shield set because I also use him in Hydra and in Clan Boss. So he's used in all three places. Um, Now, right now, Mikage is used in all three places as well, but if I pick up a Yumeko, Mikage will get dropped out. Um, so that's why I went with a shield set on him, but his total stats, I want to try and get as high HP as possible um, because that is the shield set that gets put on right in the start. Of course, you want super high defense, so go with the defense over the HP, but try and get as much as both because that's what helps grow the shield he puts on from skills. It's pretty fast at 270. He's got reasonable accuracy and definitely quite a bit of resistance there. But that's Wixwell and the shield set. Then Klaazag, and you can see why it's actually better. There's no way I would have got any mythical stuff with, well, I won't say no way, but pretty slim chances with Lydia in there in place of Klaazag. I was fortunate enough I could get him in a 9-piece, whatchamacallit, Feral set here. His stats, now I changed them a little bit. I had a lot less here and more defense, but I was trying to get more resistance so his buff doesn't get stolen um, because he's the weak link when that shield's gone. If he does not have the unkillable on, boom, he goes down, and then you're starting your run over again. But he's pretty fast. We do have a 100% crit rate. We got pretty lucky with the crit damage as well um, because he does hit the Aretha Cornet. You know, if you can get the cat's gaze on him, great, but not many people are going to have that many cat's gaze. So um, this increases his damage each time they place a debuff, and he puts 4 or 5 debuffs up. So that's definitely helpful there. The big thing is he places the true fear, not just fear like Lydia. Also, he places decreased defense on weekend and decreased accuracy and decreased resistance, and it cannot be resisted when they're going against the boss. Well, that's a boss. So fully booked there. Then he puts the counterattack, unkillable, and taunt, so that's helpful there as well. And then whenever he places a debuff on enemy, deals damage equal to 1% of their max HP. For each debuff they are currently under, stacks up to 10%. And then enemy based on enemy max HP damage. Defense in all battles, nope. I'm not sure what blessing I put on him. Masteries, we just went down. We picked up a Helm Smasher there, and then we went. I wanted to get these to extend uh, the debuffs he puts on. No, this is the debuffs. Extend the debuffs so the decreased defense and weaken hopefully, plus the other two. Actually, all four debuffs other than True Fear. The four debuffs from his A2 can be extended there, and then it won't good. Unkillable and Taunt won't be extended, but I'm trying to remember what other debuff he puts on there. Counterattack, yeah. So he's built for some damage. And then last but not least, we have Titus number 2. I have two of them, amazingly. I built both of them trying to get a good Hydra team until I finally picked up Donnie, and two of them didn't work out so well. So if I ever get another Wixwell, then I could manual both Nightmare and Brutal, but don't really want to do that. So we'll look at his masteries real quick. We just went down the defense tree trying to pick up some more resistance, get some counterattacks in there. And then we picked up more crit damage here. I could probably move over to Helm Smasher. Probably should. But it is what it is there. He's almost fully booked. I probably could book that, but it's just a debuff chance. And we don't really care about landing the block active skills. But yeah, so he's the one landing block active skills. Actually, I probably should do that so that he lands that more often, especially against the Viper form. And then we do have the Cat's Gaze at level 15 on him for that extra crit damage, plus the extra defense. And then he is in a 6-piece Merciless. And then we got 2 pieces of Slayer here, but that's just help us get more crit damage. So you don't need crit rate going against bosses. So that's nice there. Get his defense up. I wish it was a little higher, but we got 264 crit damage. The other hard part is reaching 450 resistance there. But that's the tightest build. You know, luckily that we get in the ignore defense plus the chance to cool down a round of skill, and then of course the increased crit rate and crit damage, and then just a regular banner there, but it's got all the resistance on it. So we got definitely some good resistance there, and reasonable speed on him. So that's the team there. OLA can be replaced. Well, not really. You can fit, I'm going to say Androck in. He does all the same thing, except for he does not have the decreased speed, which you need for some of the trials. So you kind of need this. If you get lucky with Lydia, you might be able to do what Klaazag can do, but since he's putting that True Fear on with his A1 and he's got counterattack, you can keep it up quite a bit against some Ram, whereas Lydia, you have to pick up Nature's Bounty Blessing to turn, hopefully, the weak version of Fear into the big version, True Fear. And so there's RNG there that's a pain in the ass. And she'll give you a few more trials on the Ram, but like I said, you'll lose them on the Viper. And at best, if you had a perfect run, you'd get, I want to say 14 with Lydia, but you got a perfect run and almost, I think it's happened once on the main. But so yeah, Klaazag, great for this. You know, wish I could get more trials out. It uses abilities more, but it is what it is. But there you go. There's a Titus Wixwell team with Klaazag on Nightmare. I wish I could do Ultra Nightmare. I might try it, but I don't think I'm going to have enough resistance. Probably actually not enough accuracy for a lot of those stuff. So, is what it is. Hope you enjoyed. Have a nice day.